The year of 2012 was an amazing one. I was working for a national private investigative company and was a soon-to-be new dad. On 1/8/2012, we found out that my wife would be getting induced into labor the following day. We were very excited until I was told I had an emergency case in Vermont on 1/8/2012. I live in Massachusetts, but the city in Vermont was on the border of Canada, 215 miles one way. Well, I have always loved the snow and the mountains, but on this particular day, I was terrified. Passing through New Hampshire, there are the White Mountains. The roads were covered with ice, and it was snowing very badly. Along with the 400-foot drops on either side of me, my car was not in great shape, and I was the only one on the road, so I was sliding all over the road. I was horrified that something would happen to me, and I would not be able to make it back to see my son born. I had such horrible anxiety the entire trip as a fog, due to the fear I had. The point to my story is this. 2 years ago, if you asked me to write anything about the mountains, I would write how much I loved it and would gladly live there in an igloo. Looking back, I would have included how I was an avid snowboarder and grew up around the mountains. If you asked me now, it would not be a happy writing. I would most likely speak about how the mountains hang over you, seemingly making it difficult to breathe, rather than their natural beauty. I still do love the mountains, but I had an eye-opening experience to just how dangerous things can be. I believe experiences in life will always dictate a bias for people, good or bad, and I had a personal experience with one that changed the way I viewed something for the rest of my life. In conclusion, I have not been back to the White Mountains since. I have mixed emotions about the mountains now. Something so beautiful and close to me threatened to take me from the one thing I had looked forward to for 9 months. In my experience, there was all my fears. Heights, falling, being stranded, and not making it home. I believe this all contributed to the seemingly traumatic nature for me. It was as if all my fears were interested in me on that particular day. I recall leaving the case site as well. The whole drive home, I felt as though the mountains were looming behind me. I would come around a new bend and a new set of mountains there, waiting for me. Considering the circumstances, they seemed to take on a life of their own, as if they were seeing me off for good. The only thing I found humorous about the whole trip was the physical exhaustion I felt when returning home. The hours of being tense and gripping the steering wheel made me more exhausted than any exercise I had ever done. It is also funny how something you have been around for so long can change in an instant, given the circumstances 215 miles away. My son was born happy and healthy and is now 8 months old. We will not be taking a mountain camping trip anytime soon, and that is okay with me. My bias has been created, and it is one that will take some time to get over, but I know someday I will return to the White Mountains under better circumstances.